Welcome back. I survived 14 games, but as I said, when it's on a Saturday, they're all spread out. It's not nearly as bad. So let's review the final 9. If you're looking for the reviews of the first 5, already on the channel. Already got all that covered. So, yeah, tonight there was some goals in the NHL. Like, I remember, doing that video not that long ago about, hey, are we going to get back to 80s level scoring? And there were people going, hey, settle down. We're not going to see that. Right. Yeah. We're totally not going to see that. That's never going to happen. Okay, so let's get into the 80s games while I'm wearing the Nordiques Reverse Retro Avalanche. Jones versus Anderson in the Philadelphia-Buffalo game. These teams meet again tomorrow. I have to say that tomorrow we're going to the Slipknot concert in Vancouver, and I looked at tomorrow's schedule. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to miss some hockey, that might be some good hockey to miss because there's nothing earth-shattering that's going to happen tomorrow in all likelihood. So Power has a chance that deflects out. Sabres press, however, it goes the other way, and Farabee gets a goal from Brink and Yandel at 1:41. The net goes off, but it's after the puck had already gone in, so they reviewed to make sure it was a good goal. Sabres press to answer, but at 3:55, Tippett makes it 2-0 Flyers. So the Buffalo Sabres are getting an opportunity here and there, and every time they get one, the Flyers end up getting the goal. Flyers then get a power play. After that's killed off, the Sabres get one. A lot of dislike in this game very early. That power play is killed off, so we go to the second period. Sabres get a power play. They score on it. It's Okposo from Krebs and Yoki Haru at 3:17. Sabres then look to tie it. We have good rushes both ways. Sabres press at 6 minutes. The shots are 7-1 in their favor at 8 minutes. And then at 8:27, Dahlin scores from Skinner and Olofsson, and that makes it 2-2. The Flyers, though, they press with 8 minutes left. Eventually, they get the lead back. It's Konechny from Cates and Sanheim at 14:06. Hinostroza, though, would tie it up again from Girgensons and Fitzgerald at 15:36. And then before the period's out, the Sabres press. They draw themselves a power play, and they score on it. It's Tage Thompson from Middlestad and Dahlin at 17:58. And the Sabres look for another. So going into the third, they have all the momentum. They only allowed 4 shots in that second period. They had tons of opportunities themselves. Here we go. But in the third period, Cousins has a chance that's blocked. Sabres had the early edge. Skinner with a near miss. Buffalo goes to the power play. They don't score on it. And in fact, with 9 minutes left, the shots are actually 4-1 for the Flyers. The Flyers get a power play. That's killed off, but they get another one. They pulled the goaltender after the kill. With 1:06 left, the Flyers end up going offside on a turnover opportunity. Or they go offside and they call a timeout. With 18.1 seconds left, the Sabres ice the puck, but Philly's not able to tie it. So your final score is 4-3 for Buffalo. They go to 28, 38, and 11. For Philadelphia, 23, 41, and 11. You will be glad to know these teams meet again tomorrow. So if you missed this one, you can watch tomorrow. Shots in this one, 9-7 Buffalo in the first, 18-4 Buffalo in the second, 10-2 Philly in the third. Final shots, 29-21 for Buffalo. Power plays, Philadelphia 0-4, Buffalo 2-4. The hits, 14-10 for Philly. Jones saves 25 out of 29. Anderson, not busy, saves 18 out of 21. All right, next up. The Washington Capitals and the Montreal Canadiens. This is again a game where Montreal got off to a good start, but then Washington kind of said, nope, no. This was not the same as the last game Montreal had against the Islanders, where they outplayed the Islanders. This wasn't quite the same game. So Vanacek versus Montembeault in this one. Caulfield can't bury one early, but the shots are 5-2 for the Habs at 3.5 minutes. So they get off to that good start. Schooneman misses one wide and a good opportunity in the slot. Armia fires one wide from the slot as well. Ovechkin has a chance that deflects out. Paling was denied by Vanacek. Oshie has a rush chance. That draws a power play. It's killed off, but shortly after, Dowd would score from Orlov and Mantha at 12:23. Then the Habs get a power play. Caulfield has a chance that he tips wide. The Habs score, but it's ruled that it's a kick, so that doesn't count, and then the rest is killed off. Ovechkin has a rush chance that's blocked, and we go to the second period. It is 1-0, though, for Washington, even though Montreal outshot them by more than a 2-1 margin in that first period. So second period, early turnovers both ways. And then Evans would score from Dvorak and Savard at 1:56. 4 minutes in, the shots are 3-2 for the Caps. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. We end up with a bunch of goals in the same minute. At 8:03, it's Mantha from Orlov. At 8:37, it's Mantha from Eller. And then Montreal answers. It's Paling from Petrie and Hoffman at 8:51. So that's all between the 8 and 9 minute mark of the second period. This is where all the goals were happening at the same time. And I'm just trying to keep up with everything because the second period of all 4 of these games, absolutely bonkers. Just bonkers. Just absolutely ridiculous. Caps get a power play. It becomes a 5-on-3. Montreal kills that off. So they killed off that 5-on-3. Wilson's then denied. The Habs press with 6.5 minutes left. Ovechkin, though, would score from Kuznetsov at 15:36. So he's still got a chance at getting to 50 goals this year. Wilson and Anderson were at it, and they'd been at it a lot. Now, Anderson was agitated with Wilson, so he gives him a punch, which means he goes to the box. So the Caps get the power play out of it. It becomes a 4-on-4 after. Everything gets killed off there, so we go to the third period. At 2:22, Paling scores to give that faint hope a little bit more behind it from Tyler Pitlick and Romanov. That's Tyler Pitlick's first point as a Montreal Canadian. The Habs look to tie it, but then the puck goes the other way. Hathaway scores from Larson and Dowd at 3:08. Man, they've got Lawson and Larson, right? Yeah. Anyways. So I was thinking about the organizational depth chart of the Washington Capitals. Orlov would add another from Mantha and Ovechkin at 4:30. So Ovechkin was on the board a couple of times there. Caps then get a power play. They might as well score on it, so they do. Schultz from Orlov and Johansson at 9:50. Suzuki would answer from Petrie at 14:53, but the Caps get another power play, and they score on it. It's Oshie. The puck's deflected in off of him from Kuznetsov and Karlsson at 16:35. And what's interesting is that Oshie was kind of snickering about it because he had all these opportunities that just wouldn't go, and then the goal ends up being kind of a fluke just because of where you're standing. So the Washington Capitals, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, I got them all, 8-4 is your final score for Washington. They go to 42, 23, and 10 with the win. Montreal 20, 45, and 11 with the loss. The shots in this one, 15-7 Montreal in the first, 18-9 Washington in the second, 16-8 in favor of Washington in the third. Final shots, 41-32 in favor of the Capitals. Power plays, the Caps go 2 for 6, Montreal 0 for 2. The hits were 34-21 for Washington. Vanacek saves 28 out of 32. Montembeault had a rough night, 33 saves on 41 shots. So apparently no matter how bad this got, Carey Price wasn't coming in. So that being said, moving along. Toronto had a hard time with Ottawa tonight, didn't they? So it was Källgren versus Forsberg in this one. Lots of Leaf fans there, a lot of blue jerseys in that crowd. The Sens, early on, you could see there were turnovers that were going on. You cannot be doing that against Toronto. That's bad news. The Leafs press at 4 minutes. There's a power play for the Leafs, but it's a good penalty kill. It allows 3 shots, does not allow a goal. Shots are 7-2 for the Leafs at the half. The Leafs go back to the power play. That was killed off as well. Those are the only power plays they had in the game. Then Stützle scores on a 2-0 from Tkachuk and Del Zotto at 14-14. So, costly turnover for Toronto, and Ottawa capitalizes. Bunting's then denied on a turnover opportunity he had before. At 15-25, there's a Sens bounce. Del Zotto gets a goal from Brown and Norris. It's 2-0 Ottawa, even though they've been outshot badly. So, really unusual looking result there. Engvall has a net feed that's cleared out. The Sens end up getting a power play. So that rolls over into the second period. There's 33 seconds left in that power play. Toronto kills that off. Sens press after, but at 2:57, Toronto gets on the board. It's Kyle Clifford from Hall and Giordano at 2:57. Kelly then had a rush chance that was saved and held. Mikheyev with a net drive, that was saved as well. And the shots are 7-2 for the Sens at 7.5 minutes. So they're really pushing to try to, hold the lead and everything else. Gambrell would make it a 2-goal lead again from Watson and Brandstrom at 10:03. Then there's a crossbar for Liljegren, and on that same play for Toronto, they end up getting a goal. It's Bunting from Giordano at 11:21. So Bunting had been ice cold for a while with goal scoring. He's got that back. He's got it going. Some line juggling going on for the Leafs. Marner would score from Brody at 18:33. That was after they lost a faceoff. Brody gets it back, gives it to Marner, and Marner fires it. The Leafs press for the lead. So we go to the third period with this thing tied at 3. Early jump for the Leafs. Blackwell has a rush that's defended, and then on a turnover, Stützle in alone. He scores at 6 minutes and 10 seconds. So Stützle with a couple of goals. He's up to 20 on the season. And then Marner scores from Bunting at 10 minutes and 6 seconds. The Leafs press with 7 minutes left. There's a near miss for Engvall. We go to overtime. In overtime, Sens control early. Zub can't bury one. The Leafs get it. Tkachuk was denied. The Leafs rush. Nylander fires one wide. Stützle's denied on a break of his own. It is Giordano that ends it from Nylander and Tavares at 3:26. Toronto wins this one 5-4 in overtime. They go to 49, 20, and 6. For Ottawa, they're 28, 40, and 7 with that overtime loss. The shots in this one, 15-6 Toronto in the first, 14-11 Ottawa in the second, 13-7 Toronto in the third. Both teams had 2 shots in the overtime. Final shots, 41-29 Toronto. Power plays, the Leafs go 0 for 2. Ottawa 0 for 1. The hits, 29-17 Ottawa. Shalgren saves 25 out of 29. Forsberg saves 36 out of 41. So overall, I thought Forsberg was the better goaltender. Toronto was the better team. And they end up winning the game. All right, next up, Winnipeg. So this is kind of a heartbreaker, but in the end, the score ends up being probably closer than it should have been because Winnipeg didn't have that many opportunities. So it's Hellebuck versus Elliott, and on the first shot, Winnipeg scores. It's Stastny from Ehlers and Connor at 56 seconds. Ehlers has been the heart and soul of this team while they've been struggling to try to stay in the hunt. Bolts try to answer. There's a stretch pass to Lowry that's a near miss. The Bolts get a power play. Lowry and Bogosian went at it as well. Well, on the power play, Killorn scores from Stamkos and Hedman at 6:05. It's reviewed for a high stick, but it counts. Bolts press for the lead. There's a press by them as well at 9 minutes. Shots are 7-3 in their favor with 8 minutes left. But on the 4th shot of the game for Winnipeg, they score again. So that's 2 goals on 4 shots. It's Connor from Dubois at 13:46. Hedman then had a net drive he couldn't bury. Belmar does before the period's out at 18:21 from Ruda and Hedman. Bolts then look for the lead, and Hedman had a very good game, so he hasn't ruled himself out for the Norris. We go to the second. Jets keeping it in the Tampa Bay zone. Not getting a lot of shots, though. Hagel has a chance that was blocked out. Bolts press at 5 minutes. Kucherov's shot was blocked. The Jets scored. It's challenged for offside. It actually was onside. They couldn't find a definitive angle that showed that it was offside. So Morrissey gets the goal from Appleton and Lowry at 7:36, and then they score on the power play. Wheeler from Pionk and Toninato at 9:34. So it's 4-2 for Winnipeg in a game where they've been outplayed mostly, right? So now you're kind of relying on Hellebuck. Hellebuck showing some of his, I think it's fatigue. I'll agree with the announcers on this. I think with Hellebuck, he's been overplayed. I will agree and echo the announcers that I'm confused because Comrie's been pretty good for the most part this year. And when we take a look at Winnipeg's season, which of course at the end of the year I look at any team that's missed the playoffs and we discuss how they missed, I think overplaying Hellebuck is going to be part of it. So Paul would score from Kucherov at 13:56. We had 2 minutes of 4-on-4. No scoring there, but some opportunities. Then Kucherov scores from Hedman and Paul at 18:03. Hagel's denied. The Bolts press. We end up going to the third period with it tied at 4. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 again. This time it's a 4-on-4 goal. Stamkos from Palat at 3 minutes, and it's scored on a rush. So Stamkos gets the goal, so they play can't touch this. And Tampa Bay in the lead. They would not look back. At 6:50, it's Kucherov from Hedman. Makes it 6-4. The Bolts get a power play. Is this the power play goal? No, this is not a power play goal. It's after it finished. Sergachev from Chernak and Kucherov at 11:55. That makes it 7-4. That's your final score. Tampa Bay wins this one going away. They go to 46-21-8 with the win. The Jets 35-30-11 with the loss. So Tampa Bay and Toronto really looks like our 2-3 matchup in the Atlantic. I think during the Toronto game they said there was a 71.9% chance that it'll end up being Tampa and Toronto. After today's results, that number is only going to go up. So Tampa Bay stays 3 heads at 3 points ahead of Boston. Your shots, 11-5 Tampa in the first, 11-9 Tampa in the second, and then the Jets were just done. 15-4 in favor of Tampa Bay in the third. Final shots, 37-18 for Tampa. Power plays, Winnipeg scored on the only one they had, which of course was on that challenge. Tampa Bay scores once out of the 2 opportunities they had. The final hits are 31-29 for Winnipeg. Hellebuck saves 25 out of 32 before the mercy pull, so Comrie went in and saved all 5 shots in relief. Elliott, 14 saves on 18 shots. So Elliott didn't have a great game. Tampa Bay bails him out, sort of like Shalgren got bailed out, sort of like Vanacek got... There's a lot of bailing out going on, which, we're getting closer to playoff time. We're not supposed to be seeing goals like this. We're supposed to be seeing scores like we saw with San Jose and Dallas. So the Dallas Stars never do anything easily. When they showed a graphic at the end saying, oh, Minnesota or Dallas has been in almost Minnesota North Star, see it's there. Dallas has been in, almost the most one goal games of any team in the league. And I'm yelling at the TV, yeah, I know they don't do anything easy. There's no such thing as Dallas running away and hiding in a game so that I can breathe and relax. So, first period, it's Kakkonen versus Ottinger. They were wearing the Rave jerseys. Love the Rave jerseys. And I've come up with a creative solution for what I'm going to wear to the Dallas-Vancouver game. I think I'm going to wear both. Anyways, shots are 3-1 for the Stars at 3 minutes. Yeah, I don't care. I can ride that. I can be right in the middle if I want. It doesn't matter. Suter has a chance that's tipped wide. Seguin would open the scoring. He scores from Benn and Suter at 5:55. The Stars press at 8.5 minutes. Reedy had a chance that was saved and held. Glendening has a chance that deflects wide. Better second half for the Sharks. They were sticking around in this one. And there's a last-minute press by the Stars, but the Sharks actually outshot them by 1 in that first period. So second period, Gregor has a chance that's saved and held. Benn had a rush chance that was blocked. The shots are 4-1 for the Stars at 8.5 minutes. So San Jose's getting the zone time. They're not getting the shots. Sharks get a power play. During that power play, Dallas scores shorthanded. It's Raffl from Glendening and Lindell at 13:31. It's a 2-on-1, turnover, and a goal. Stars then finish off the kill. Bonino misfires from in close after that's done. Sharks press with 3 minutes left. There's a post for Burns, but in the final minute of that second period, San Jose scores to keep things interesting. It's Meyer from Merkley and Ferraro at 19:23. So we're going to the third period, 2-1 Dallas. Robertson hits the outside of the net. They had the early jump in this period. Hurdle was then denied on a rush. The Stars press at 2.5 minutes. Seguin was denied Kakkonen. Again, he had a rough first couple of games for San Jose. He's been better though. Shots are 5-1 for Dallas at 7 minutes. The Stars then had a 3-on-2 that was defended well by San Jose. Sharks press with 6.5 minutes left. With 5:19 left, the Sharks get a power play. So, yeah, my arms get thrown in the air like, of course, they're up by 1. Of course they're going to have to kill off a penalty. But it's an aggressive penalty kill by Dallas wearing those Rave jerseys. Bonino has a shot then that deflects out. Merkley has one that's saved and held. Power play's killed off. 2 shots allowed. Goalie pull with 1.5 minutes left. Merkley prevented an empty net goal by Benn. Dahlin was then denied from in close with 19.4 seconds left. The Stars ice the puck. San Jose would get opportunities around the boards. They could not get to the net. Dallas holds on. They win 2-1. They go to 43, 27, and 5. San Jose 29, 34, and 11. So this puts them 4 points clear of Vegas. And this is why I did not have the Vancouver Canucks on the board I did yesterday, where I was talking about the playoff races. And there were Canuck fans that weren't happy, but just the reality is, Dallas with this win, it kind of puts them too far ahead. That being said, now I get to change boards. I mentioned the scores were ridiculous today, right? Look at this. Look at this. We'll get to that. All right, first we're going to talk about, yes, I used Whalers and I used Nordiques. No, it wasn't a throwback night. Nobody wore Nordiques or Whalers. They missed a gorgeous opportunity to wear both. Anyways, it's Anderson versus Kemper in this one. The Canes get a power play early on. It becomes a 4-on-4, which means it's an Avs power play. And they score on it as it's coming to an end. Compher scores from Newhook and Burakovsky at 6:58. The shots, though, are 6-1 in favor of Carolina at 9 minutes. So that was the first shot they had. Then McKinnon scores from Nichushkin at 10:48. That makes it 2-0, and Colorado had some momentum out of that. McKinnon has a rush chance that's saved. The Canes get a power play. It becomes a 4-on-4 for 1 minute and 33 seconds. It's all killed off. Shots even up. And 19:58 of the period, the Canes get a delay of game call, so the Avs have a power play to start the second period. They score on it right near the end of it, too. Compher on the power play from Burakovsky and Taves at 1:56 makes it 3-0. And then Myers, his first NHL game and his first NHL goal, he scores from O'Connor at 2:21. It's on a Canes turnover. So it's 4-0. Or no, Canes timeout. This is where Rod Brindamore calls a timeout. And all I could think was, you probably could have called the timeout at 2-0, but all right, it's 2 goals back-to-back, and you want to settle things down. It worked. Stahl scores from Shea and Pesci at 3:02. And it was a good press by Carolina. So whatever Brindamore said to them worked. Avs try to answer. Really wide open game at this point. Makar fans on a dangerous opportunity. And then Stahl, who's been red hot in April. He scores from Niederreiter and Slavin at 8:44. Stahl would not finish this game. He got hurt. I haven't heard anything yet about how hurt he is. So that made it 4-2, but then Newhook would score from Obe Kubel at 11:17. And before you can celebrate too much about that, at 13:33, Aho gets it back from Martinook and Jarvis. McKinnon then had a fast break that was defended. Burakovsky has a rush chance. That was saved. And the Canes had chances as the period's coming to an end. So it's still a 2-goal lead, but it's gone from 2-0 to 5-3. 6 goals in the second period. Second periods were ridiculous tonight. Third period, Canes get an early press. Rantanen would end up scoring, though, from Nichushkin at 4:08. No chance for Freddie Anderson on that one. I feel bad for Freddie because his save percentage takes a hit, and we'll talk about the other reason I feel bad for Freddie in a minute here. Canes get a power play. It does not score, but Svechnikov gets a goal from Teravainen and D'Angelo at 6:28. Actually, I'm looking at this. That is a power play goal. Sorry about that. There were so many goals to track. So that is a power play goal because they did get a power play goal tonight, and the other ones would not have been power play goals. Pesce then had a net feed that was cleared. Makar misses one high from in close, and then McKinnon scores to make it 7-4 from Rantanen and Taves at 11:43. Things get punchy on the next whistle. The Avs come out of that with a power play. But then Anderson gets hurt, and it looked like it was his left leg because he had that skate off the ice as he's taken off. Antti Ranta goes in. So that's really the takeaway. The result is worrying if you're a Canes fan anyways. But Freddie Anderson being hurt is really not good news. So 21.5 seconds left. The Avs get a power play. That just kills off the rest of the game. Your final score is 7-4. Colorado has clinched the West. It's part of the reason why I'm wearing the reverse retro. They go to 55-14-6. They are 2 points short of their team's franchise record for points in a season. On the Carolina side, they're 48-20-8. This loss, combined with the win by the Rangers today, just keeps that division a lot closer than Carolina wants it to be. Shots are 7 apiece in the first, 15 apiece in the second, 15-11 Colorado in the third. Final shots 37-33 for the Avalanche. Power plays, Carolina 1 for 3, Colorado 2 for 5. The hits 32-31 Carolina. Anderson saves 26 out of 33. Just brutal. But again, that I think was on the defense as much as it would be on him. Ranta with 4 saves in relief on 4 opportunities. Kemper, 29 saves on 33 shots. So not a great statistical night for Kemper, but again, it was a pretty wide open game. There was a lot of really good opportunities for both teams. So not playoff hockey being played there. Speaking of a team that's not going to be in the playoffs, Arizona. So this is your no mercy game of the night, and it didn't start out that way. It's Setri versus Markstrom. 30 seconds in, Nick Ritchie on the first shot of the game for Colorado scores. So Markstrom's been stuck on 9 shutouts for a while, it seems. I do wonder if he's going to get to 10. We've only got a couple weeks left, so we'll see if he gets to 10 shutouts on the season. Beagle and McBain with the assists on that goal. Ritchie then hits the side of the net on the next opportunity he had. Pretty good shift there. Hayden has a rush chance that's saved. The shots are 4-3 for the Coyotes at 5 minutes. Lewis, though, then had a chance that was saved 3-on-2. Anderson goes end-to-end. The Flames press after that. Flames get a power play. That was killed off. Tkachuk can't bury one in close. Setri covers, and I jinxed it. I put their best appearance so far for Setri. I thought, good. You know, at least he's having a decent game after a couple of rough outings, either in relief or as the starter. And I feel bad for putting that on the board. And if Setri sees this, I apologize. Coyotes had chances in the closing seconds. Yeah, they played all right. I mean, they ended up allowing 16 shots in the first, but hey, Setri saves them all. Then the second period, and the Flames really lit up the Coyotes in that second period. It's Dubé on a turnover at 38 seconds. Then it's Mangiapane from Zadorov at 1:16. Then it's Tkachuk from Goudreau at 2:18. And then it's Dubé, unassisted again, because why share, at 3 minutes and 11 seconds. So over about 2.5 minutes of game time, that's 4 goals. So Vejmelka's in, and Setri's out because they only had 4 shots at this point in the period, and all of them had gone in. So, yeah. I went from after the first thinking, you know, maybe Arizona. I mean, Calgary doesn't really have to win this game, and I can understand them having a down night because they don't have to win it. They've already clinched a playoff spot. They're going to clinch the division. Yeah, no. Coyotes press at 7.5 minutes. They end up getting a power play. Schmaltz has a shot this block. That's killed off. And then Coleman scores from Backlund and Mangiapane at 15:36, and then Lindholm scores from Tkachuk and Gaudreau at 18:58, and Yarncroke nearly added another in the final minute of the period. That's 6 goals in the second period for Calgary. That's a lot. That's 80s level. And so we go to the third. Early Flames power play. Setry's in. Right after the power play ends, Gaudreau scores from Hanifin and Lindholm at 2:43. So welcome back to the game. At 5:13, Tkachuk welcomes him back as well from Lindholm and Gaudreau. So, yeah, that line's getting a lot of points. Tkachuk is flirting with hitting 100 points this year. Gaudreau may end up hitting 110 with the way he's playing. And that went in off of Tkachuk's skate because, sure, luck plays a role in all this. And then they had a ninth. Gaudreau from Lindholm and Tkachuk at 8:58. They have 11 minutes and 2 seconds left. This is where fans start chanting, "We want 10." And that was a rush goal. The Coyotes get a power play. It's unsuccessful. And in the final minute, the Flames seem to be on board with the idea of getting a 10th goal. They just don't quite get it. Your final score is 9-1. They go to 46-20-9. Arizona 22-48-5. I double checked, and the losses against Vancouver and Calgary only count as 2 games. Rough end of the season though for Arizona. Your shots are 16-11 Calgary in the first, 14-5 Calgary in the second, 12-10 Calgary in the third. Final shots 41-26 for the Flames. Both teams go 0 for 2 on the power play. So if you're a Coyotes fan, hey, the PK was perfect. Hits are 20-15 for Calgary. Setry saves 24 out of 31. Vejmelka saves 8 out of 10, and Markstrom saved 25 out of 26 after allowing a goal in the first shot. He shut her down. So there you go. Flames, a pretty insane victory right there. Just crazy. All right, Seattle and New Jersey. So you'll notice I did watch this game and I took a lot of notes. These are 2 teams that aren't going to the playoffs, but I'll be darned, they had an entertaining game. So it's Dawes versus Grubauer, and in the first period, of course, there's still a lot of stuff going on. I'm still catching up on the early games and making sure I got those all done up. Bratt scores from Johnson and McLeod. I'm like, do I say Johnson? Do I say Johnson? And I froze. So at 3:12, and again, all the announcers are saying Johnson, so I'll say Johnson. Zetterlund's then denied as the Devils press. I apologize to Andreas if he really wanted Johnson to catch on. It doesn't appear that it did. Devils get a power play. That's killed off. The shots are 4-1 for the Devils at 9.5 minutes. But then Will Borgen puts one of those few shots the Seattle gets into the net from Rask and Kuhlman at 10:49. New Jersey, though, gets the lead back. It's Boquist from Zacha at 16:14, and then the Devils press for another. The Kraken, though, they press back with 2 minutes left. So after the first period, it's 2-1 in favor of New Jersey. Second period, power play for Seattle at 35 seconds. That's killed off. Not a lot of opportunities early in that period. 7.5 minutes in, the shots are 2-1 for Seattle. The Devils get a power play. There was a broken stick. It became a 5-on-3.5 with that broken stick, but the Kraken are able to clear it out. No harm, no foul. Zetterlund has a shot then that's saved and held. The power play is killed off. The Devils go back to the power play. That next one was killed off as well. Beniers has a net drive. That wouldn't go. The shots are 7-6 Devils with 5.5 minutes left. And then Seattle kind of wakes up. Soucy scores from McCann and Gord at 15:20 with 3:43 left. Seattle gets a power play. And with his parents in attendance, Matty Beniers has an NHL goal. He had an NHL assist in his first game. He gets a goal tonight from McCann and done at 16:57. Beniers absolutely looks like a keeper. It's nice to see him fitting in right away and accepting that role and playing a 200-foot game, because early in the third period, he takes a puck away from the New Jersey Devils, clears it out, gets it into the other zone as well. So Beniers, good 200-foot play there. I think for Seattle fans, that light at the end of the rainbow is definitely there in the form of Matty Beniers. And then you got to remember, they're going to get a pretty good draft pick this year as well. McLeod then had a rush that was defended. Good back and forth at 3 minutes. There was a near miss and close for Mercer. And then Severson ties it from McLeod at 4:55. Nice cross-ice pass. And in the net, not much chance for Grubauer on that. Seattle presses at 7.5 minutes. Dawes holds. Tatar was denied. The Kraken rushed the other way. Devils press with 6 minutes left. Wenberg has a net feed that's blocked. Sprong couldn't bury one on a rush. We end up going to overtime. The overtime, Devils control at the 1 minute mark. Hamilton had a shot saved. The Kraken rushed the other way. McCann turns it over. New Jersey offside. It was kind of a sloppy 3-on-3, to be honest. Devils control it. They turn it over. Beniers with a net drive. Seattle gets a power play. So Beniers draws a power play in overtime with 1:15 left. They were not able to generate much. With 21.3 left, the timeout's called to try to figure this out. They don't actually get a goal. So we go to the shootout. In the shootout, Beniers did have an opportunity. He did not score. Donato does. Donato gets the winner. And so it's a 4-3 shootout victory for Seattle. Send the fans home happy. They go to 24, 44, and 6 with the win. New Jersey drops to 26, 42, and 7 with the shootout loss. Your shots in this one, 8-6 New Jersey in the first, 11-8 in favor of Seattle, or 11-9 Seattle in the second, 8-7 New Jersey in the third, 2-1 Seattle in the overtime. Both teams had 26 shots. Power plays, New Jersey 0 for 3, Seattle 1 for 3. The hits, 27-18 Seattle. Dawes saves 23 out of 26. Grubauer saves 23 out of 26. And yeah, again, pretty entertaining game. I got to watch a lot of that because there was only 3 games left by the end of the night. So in this was a crime scene. This wasn't a game. This is just there should be yellow tape across. I don't know how I would do a review if I had yellow police tape on a game. I'm going to figure that out for next season, aren't I? All right. Columbus and the LA Kings. So to close out the night. And here's the thing. I know LA's playing teams that are below the playoff line. But Columbus isn't a pushover. And I think they showed that tonight. So it's Merzlikins versus Quick. Merzlikins is known to steal games. They mentioned before the game he's stolen 5. Brown scores from Lizotte early, though, at 1:41. So that puts LA in the lead, and that really makes a big difference. First goals matter in the NHL a lot. Werenski has a chance to save it. I'm not saying that as soon as a first goal goes in, you can leave a game, because first goal they lost. But yeah, you're 50-50. You'd look pretty smart if you go, well, it's 1-0. I'm going to avoid traffic. I'm going to go. It's only 40 seconds into the game. Yeah, it's done. They scored first. So the shots are 1-1 at 3.5 minutes. The one shot that Columbus had at that point was Werenski with an opportunity that was saved and held. Kempe then had a fast break. He was denied. But Danault continues to rack up the goals. That's 24 now. From Moore and Arvidsson at 7:02, and it was a rush goal on a turnover. So got to watch turnovers. That makes it 2-0. Columbus gets a power play. Laine has a blast that's blocked. The next shot was saved. The Kings kill it off. One shot. 7-3 for the Kings in total, and Columbus really generates nothing the rest of the period. Danault had a rush chance that was saved. Kings press with 6 minutes left, and yeah, the Jackets, they were stuck on 3 shots. Nothing. They had 3 shots in that period, and yeah, they were stuck on 3 for most of the second half of that period. But early in the second, with the first shot they had in the second period, Corelli puts them on the board from Meyer and Nyquist at 53 seconds. Kings press at 3.5 minutes. The shots are 7-1 for the Kings at 5 minutes, so that only shot for Columbus is a goal. Kings get a power play. That was killed off. The shots start evening up at this point as well. Roslovic has a chance that's saved. Danault was in on a 2-on-1, ends up missing on that. We had 2 minutes of 4-on-4 with 2:55 left. So Columbus takes a penalty, so it becomes a 4-on-3 in favor of the Kings. It's all killed off, though. No harm, no foul. We're going to the third with the score 2-1. Early jump for the Kings, but 5.5 minutes into the period, the shots are 5-2 Columbus. Again, they're not pushovers. I'm not saying Columbus is a world beater, but they're not a pushover either. This, right now, Arizona is the pushover. But I don't think I'm talking out of turn to say that. The Kings get a power play. Arvidsson has a rush chance that was saved and held. They killed that off. But Nyquist, who had been in the penalty box for that first one, he goes right back to the box. Thankfully, he took somebody with him, so this time it's 4-on-4. That's killed off as well. I got a chuckle, too, when Nyquist came out of the box and he goes to the bench. The announcers mentioned that he goes right back to the bench. And I thought, well, yeah, he doesn't want to take another penalty. That's for Evander Kane to do. So, Kempe with a rush chance, that was saved. There's a near miss for Gavrikov. The Kings press with 8.5 minutes left. Iafallo had a rush chance that was saved. They would press after that. 2:45 left. Columbus goes to the power play. So this is where I get nervous about, hey, are we going to a shootout because it's the California game that started at 7:30? The answer was no. Goalie pull for 6-on-4. With 1:17 left, Columbus calls a timeout. Laine fires one wide as the power play ends. And the Kings manage to hold on. They win this one 2-1. Much like Dallas on the first board, LA finds a way to win after getting 2 early goals. They go to 40, 27, and 10 with the win, so Vegas is now 3 points back of LA. They have a game in hand, but they're 3 back. Columbus 35, 34, and 6 with the loss. The shots, 12-3, LA in the first, 18-11 LA in the second, and then both teams had 8 shots in the third. Final shots 38-22 for the Kings. Power plays, Columbus 0 for 2, LA 0 for 3. The hits were 29-25 for Columbus. Merzlikins is why they're not a pushover. 36 saves on 38 shots. Good game for him. Quick saves 21 out of 22. Not busy, but when he had to, he made the saves. So there you go. You're all caught up on tonight's action. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And apologies to Canucks fans. Nobody helped the Canucks out tonight. Nobody. So the Canucks, they're pretty far back now, and yeah, there you go. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.